to all my bald friends. If you can't grow it here, you grow it here. You can't grow it here, you grow it down here.
What about in between?
No.
All right.
Gotta give her something to hang on to.
Hey, boys, how's it going?
Yeah.
Keep the content coming. Love listening every single week. Bit of a hot take here. Just want to get both of your opinion on this. Trav, you'll have a bit more of expertise, I guess, just because you are goalie. No offense to you, Dave. But I think we can all truly believe.
For the record, no offense taken. Thank you for pointing out that I have not been a goaltender. I take that as a compliment.
That there is a basic fundamental to goaltending these days, how it's played, how we're structured. Not every goal is the exact same. But do you believe or think that if any goalie, as freakishly as they are, like say a guy like Vasilevsky, he's a freak of nature. We know that. He's insanely athletic. But if you look at that cup final versus the Colorado, how much they exposed him with how technically sound he isn't, do you think if he was more technically sound, they have a better chance of beating Colorado or any of the other seasons in the past when they were losing in the first, second rounds where he was getting exposed by other teams and top players? Like, I don't think it's enough to be just a freak of nature and athletic. I think you got to have more structure to your game on top of that to make you that much better. And, I met Tampa's goalie coach a couple of years ago, and I did ask him, hey, why do you ever work on structure with him, like proper movements, this and that? And his words exactly, if I try to change anything he wants to do, I get fired. So let me know what you think.
That's true, man. When you get the best goaltender in the world, the goalie coach is just there to make him feel good, shoot some muffins at his chest, and kind of be more of a hype man than anything.
Well, more of a consultant. Like, he's going to tell you things you already know. He's just going to be there to remind you of the important parts.
True, but it depends on the team and the goaltender. So if you have a guy, let's say Askarov in San Jose, who's just starting off his career on a dog shit team, the goalie coach is going to be able to have some pull to say, we should rein this in or change that. Because, dude, you don't have the same leash that Vasilevsky has. He went to 3 straight cup finals, won the Conn Smythe, 2 cups. When one of the best goalies in the world wants to change something, he can. If he tells the goalie coach to go pound sand, that's how it's going to be. And I think the problem is, too, a lot of NHL goalies, they're stuck on their ways because they've been successful to get to that point. So for the goalie coach to come in and change things, you need their permission to change things. You can't come in there being like, all right, we're going to change this. This stinks. This sucks. That doesn't work. And that's more so of an off-season thing. So to Franz Jean, the goalie coach for the Tampa Bay Lightning, yes, if he changed anything, they probably will fire him because they don't want him tinkering with Vasilevsky. But to answer your question, do you need structure? Absolutely. Do you need athleticism? Absolutely. That's why the mid-2000s went from everybody being a boxy goaltender to the last 10 years, a lot of athleticism, and now bringing them both in together.
So what do you do with a guy like Dominic Hasek? You just let him be.
Well, you did because he won 2 Hart trophies and God knows how many Vezina trophies, and he won 2 cups.
And so unconventional.
But
there's no goalie coach that would say, play like that.
He would never make the NHL today. Nobody would give him a chance. Too clunky.
And you know what's amazing is there's probably some kid who is very similar to that style, and no one's giving him a look because he's too chaotic.
Boys, honestly, is it suicide or stewicide playing this guy? It's 100% all game force. I didn't sleep after last night. I am so loyal to the oil that I piss Pennzoil. I work in the oil patch. I think it's like a sick parlay for $2, a coffee money parlay. $2 parlay for $151,000.
I think it's my older roommate.
You either hit it or you fail the first leg. I don't know, boys. Let me know.
I literally just got deja vu.
Drumsticks.
I literally just got deja vu when I was playing in Motor City. We'd have the guys in the gambling corner. There'd be 5 of them. They'd sit right beside me, and they'd come in for morning skate at 10:45 on the ice for 11. First guy rolls in. Boys, I just hit the parlay. I've been up since 2 in the morning hitting them. I'm rich. I'm buying lunch today. Fast forward to Monday. Boys, can I borrow some money? Go borrow some money. I just got deja vu of all that.
Here's what it comes down to. This is Stan Bowman's essay. It's already written. You just got to read it. Who knows how it's going to end? But he was the one that decided at the trade deadline, we're good.
We don't have a goaltending problem.
Bingo.
No such thing.
Right.
All right, Stan. All right, Boomer.
Hey, boys. It's Adrian calling from Acton, Ontario. I just finished listening to your part about talking about Trevor Bauer, and obviously he was falsely accused of SA, and glad that his name got cleared. I wanted to add something too. You're saying about how he's creating a brand for himself, which has been really good. And why he's been kind of blacklisted by the MLB is because while he's been creating this brand for himself, his brand has been just shitting on Rob Manfred since he's been in the league. So I think that's the main reason why they won't let him back in. Apparently, Rob Manfred's going to retire in, I'd say, the next 3-4 years. Very brave of him because not many other sports do that, especially hockey. No one really openly shits on Bettman. But anyways, that was just my kind of spill on it. Take care, boys. Have a good one. Cheers.
Thanks for the call, and actually that leads to a point earlier in the show that we wanted to get to, but didn't get around to it, and I think it's a good entry into it. Paul Bissonnette, who is part of the Spit and Chicklets podcast, he's on the TNT broadcast as well for the NHL, kind of took Gary Bettman to task a little bit to the point where Gary Bettman felt he needed to respond.
Bettman's response was so stupid. So
give a little context on what happened.
So Biz asked Gary, he's like, do you not think it's time to do something to level the playing field? This whole state tax, like look at Vegas, look at Tampa, look at Florida. There's a reason the state of Florida
Texas
has represented the East every year for the last 6 years of the Cup final. And he says, oh, that's ridiculous. Teams care about a good practice facility and good living conditions. Bro, they make millions of dollars. They can afford good living conditions. Everybody has a good practice facility and a good gym. This isn't 1984, the New York Islanders not having a gym. Everybody has a gym. They have all the resources and the assets. And when you compare...
Yeah, unless you're in Phoenix the last couple of years, they're at the Mullet Arena.
That's been solved. That's not an issue anymore. But they had great tax incentives there, too.
Yeah.
The fact that you're going to compare in Florida, when there's no state tax, to the communist hellhole of Toronto, where they're getting taxed 54% at the lowest end. Mm-hmm. So our governor, Mr. Carney, who got airdropped in a couple months ago, gets 54% of the players' money. You get 46. Your family gets 46. Carney gets 54. Why would you go and play there on top of the media, all the other issues? They have to address the state tax thing.
And look, I know that there are people who are going to say, you're still making millions of dollars. Who cares how many millions it is in the grand scheme of things? I think the NHL has...
But can I correct you for 1 second? The fans say that, but the fans aren't the players. The fans have no grasp on what the players actually care about.
Let me finish. The NHL has not a problem, but they have a situation where they either have to... And I think Biz has got a point where the playing field has to be leveled. But you also got to keep in mind that if players have the choice, and you've said it yourself, one of the best places you've played is Biloxi, Mississippi, because you get to walk out of the rink in the middle of January in your shorts. I mean, there is an appeal to that. There are certain players who don't want to be bothered having dinner every single night when they go out with their wives or girlfriends, whatever it may be, and they don't get that down in Tampa where they would in Toronto, Edmonton, Winnipeg, and some of these more hot hockey markets. So there is a bit of a balance. The NHL has to figure out if they want to kind of say the salary cap is going to go up a little bit and down a little bit depending on what market you're in, or they do what Major League Baseball has done and say spend as much money as you want. If you go above this threshold, you're going to get charged a luxury tax. If you don't spend enough, you're going to get charged on the other end, and there's going to fit into that happy medium. I don't think you're going to ever get a even playing field in any sport, which is why baseball did that. And that's why you're going to see the Dodgers and the Yankees at the top of their respective divisions on a regular basis. But when it comes to the NHL, we still have teams like Winnipeg, who is a very hotbed, small market, sure. But then you look at Buffalo on the other end, small market, and two completely different state taxes, or provincial to state. There's no right answer. Gary Bettman didn't give the best response, but Biz brings up a good point.
Luxury tax kind of sounds like in Canada. Any car over $100,000, 20% luxury tax. Yeah. Not many nice cars here. Leave a voicemail. What do you think? Thanks for the call, by the way, Adrian. Also, the Trevor Bauer situation.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that he's been freed. I hope he comes back in the game sometime soon.
We are about a month out from finding out what the verdict's going to be on that Hockey Canada situation.
July 24th is the day.
There you go.
And everybody who shat on me a year ago and said, you don't know what you're talking about, I expect an apology from every last one of you cowards. Everyone.
Hey, Trav, it's your buddy Mike here in Edmonton. Been following your hockey career and everything you've been doing since back in the Arbor days.
Wow.
Thank you.
And I've come up with a little bit of an analysis on where you were happiest playing hockey.
Okay.
And I've noticed And I know you've said recently that playing in the Fed took your love for the game away and burnt you out pretty quick. But you were happiest, to me at least, when you were playing over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to get a deal back in Sweden, Finland, Norway, somewhere over there, would you consider going back to playing? I think that's your best opportunity, quite honestly. Let me know, boys.
He brings up a good
He
point.
does bring up a good point. I really did enjoy it, especially my second year in Sweden. That was a really, really good year, especially that little cup of coffee I had in Norway before they shut us down for the scamdemic. But the thought process I had was if things aren't going in an upward direction, which I'd hope they would after getting a little bit of traction in the Fed, they weren't. I got two choices. I can keep spinning my tires in the mud, and the big moneymaker is the vlog. I can only play in the Fed for so long and play at the same level for so long before people get bored. It's the same song and dance twice a week, once a week, for how many years? So my choice is, in the words of Kurt Cobain, to fade out or to burn away.
For the record, that was Neil Young.
Sorry, he quoted Neil Young.
Yeah.
So I can rip off the Band-Aid or let it slowly fade away. And I figured I have passions that I want to do. If the terms aren't right, where I'm comfortable going to play and I know I'm not going to get buried or get taken advantage of, I'm just going to start the next part of my career that I want to do. I love doing the show with you. We're going to try to build it and take it to the moon. And thank you to everybody that listens and has listened coming from my playing days. But my new travel series, that's a huge passion project of mine. I love storytelling. It's literally the same travel style storytelling that I did when I was in the Fed, but for Canadian history and some really cool experiences. So I hope you love it. And as far as the actual playing goes, like we addressed earlier, talking to two teams, I hope somebody comes through and makes an offer and we can find someone that would get me back into hockey and also help the community and that team benefit as well, put money in everybody's pocket. But let's not count our chickens before they hatch. I would love to do that. Senior hockey as well. Any teams that are interested, let me know. But we'll see.
Boys, where one time. It is Sunday.
This
listening to the pod. Dave, you hit the nail on the head. I was born 94. I actually saw Lilo and Stitch in theaters. And it's a full circle moment now that I'm bringing my son to the movie.
Nice.
And as far as 64 or whatever you said, Trav, that was like from the cartoon show on Disney. I saw it a little bit, but wasn't too much into that. And also, as far as RA, yeah, he did pioneer it. But as far as starting it, it was a Wit's idea. I'm pretty sure he posted it saying that he wanted to start the podcast, and Rear Admiral responded to him. But yeah, I do give him his props. He did start it, did set the way, but burnt out, and unfortunately, that's life.
Isn't
Keep it up, boys.
Isn't that crazy? One tweet. Hey, Whit, let's start a podcast. How many millions of dollars in his bank account because of that one tweet? That's a good ROI.
It was one comment on your hockey vlog that kind of kicked off this whole thing.
It was you hyped me up and stroked me off, give me a little spank on the ass on the way out the door on your morning show when I was in Sweden listening to your show on the way to practice saying, I like this guy's video. I said, I love this guy's morning show. Let's do a show. And here we are.
3 years later.
Although that ROI isn't as great as RA's ROI, but that's okay.
There
We're
you
working
go.
on it.
Yep.
I still love you.
Yo, what's up? It's Lamar. This goes out to my two favorite crackers at the mic. Dave Wheeler, Travis, Red Light Ridgeon. Get a lot of hate from some of these NDP voters on these voicemails. Travis, what's the deal? And I've left you multiple voicemails. You said you're going to get it on. So this one better get on there. And I want your feedback
Here you are.
on the radical left, NDP, and your troublesome Canada. Hit me back or I'm done.
Mr. Lamar, your voice has now been on our show. I think he has like 3 voicemails in there blast me. I wasn't kidding you. We have a lot of voicemails to catch up on. So if you've been waiting,
Heaps.
next week is the week.
Heaps.
Next week is the week. I apologize to anybody that has left one and is asking, where is my call? It's in there somewhere. We're going to get to it next week. He asked about the radical NDP left. It's over, dude. Canada's cooked. This is the great decline. Let's just enjoy it while we can, because today is the best day it's ever going to be, and tomorrow will be, and so on and so forth as we plunge into the third world.
For somebody who has studied poli-sci, and keep in mind it was 25 years ago, but still did a little bit of poli-sci research when I was in community college, it's interesting how the NDP federally got decimated in this past election. And so now you've got your liberal and your conservative, and those seem to be the two dominant forces. And it's funny how Canada is very much an independent nation, and there's no doubt about that. It's a very independent nation in comparison to our southern neighbors. But it's funny how we very closely now mirror that Democrat versus Republican in a different, completely different way. But we have completely cut out that middleman. Well, that NDP, and you can lay the blame at Jagmeet's feet if you want. But I know that there are certain somebodies who are not happy with the fact that there is no middle ground anymore, as far as in Canada's perspective. And that is a much larger conversation, but in broad strokes, that middleman is gone.
The old Maserati Marxist. And let's be honest, there is no Republican Democrat in Canada. It's liberals versus liberal light. Max Bernier hit the nail on the head. That's why they lost the election. They went liberal
Mad
light.
Max. Salut, mon cher.
I've tried asking him, Max Bernier, come on the show. I would have voted for you, dude. I was contemplating voting for you. Come on this show. We're in Winnipeg, just outside of your home riding in Portage la Prairie, in the Platte. Please, we would love to talk with you.
How's it going, boys? I'm calling from the good side of the border. I just wanted to call in and just say that I love your guys' show. You guys run a great podcast.
Thank you.
My boy SW on Twitter was the one who sent me your guys' show over and told me to check these guys out. They got great hockey coverage, and also the voicemail line is always really funny when they can get someone who has some shit to say, and T-Ridge can come over there and just talk some shit and chirp back at them. It's always great and entertaining, and I always look forward to your next video. Take care, boys. Go Wings.
Okay, so he's
Have you ever had someone talk
either calling from Rosetown or he's calling from Detroit.
Have you ever had someone talk shit to you in person, like you're out in the store and just come blast you, or no?
Dude, look who you're asking.
Okay. I've never had that happen. I've never had someone talk negatively like that to my face in person, just online on the keyboard.
You want to hear a quick story?
Yeah, sure. That was our last call for the day, too, so give me.
I was doing a morning show at a different radio station than I am right now, and it was a much edgier show. We'll leave it at that. It was a much edgier show where they promoted me. They're like, yeah, like whatever you want to say, no rules.
Is this edgy as what we do here?
Kind of, yeah. But
less or more?
More, but I had guidelines.
More edgy than us?
So okay. I had said something to the point where somebody got really triggered and said, I want to fight. If I see you, I am going to punch you in the face. And I said, why wait? I'm off the air at 10. And I said, here's the address. I go out the back door. There's a back lane. I will be out there at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. this morning. Come on down. And I walked out the back door, and I sat there and I looked around. I just looked around. I didn't come out like guns, like Bruce Banner.
Be honest with me. When you went to open that door, you took a deep breath of, okay, be honest with me. Did you?
No, what I did was I came out and I said, I'll be amazed if he even shows up. I'd be amazed. And I walked out, and I don't know if it was the person or not, but I walked out, I just kind of stood there and I looked around, and I heard an engine fire up and then somebody peel out. Whether it was that person or not, I don't know. But I think he was checking to see if I would show up, and I was checking to see if they would show up, and that was the end of it. And I never heard from them again.
If that's you, call in the voicemail. You coward.
Oh, stop.
I'd love to hear from you.
Stop.
Come outside of our studio. We're ready. We'll go 2v2. We'll take on any two men.
1440 Jack Black Avenue.
Roughly Fridays at 8 p.m. Outside of our luxurious palatial penthouse studios outside the Winnipeg Richardson International Airport.
We do a hockey podcast called Sling the Biscuit every single Sunday. The clips, the bite-sized chunks are right here. Only the hits, the full-length show, which you don't want to miss, is right here. That's Dave. I'm Travis. We'll see you soon.